Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting on Alligator to talk because Alligator is the one that is sitting in Corey's normal spot because Corey is not here.
Of course.
Anyway, I'm Stephen Willis alongside Jeb Beecham and Jake Thomas and Alligator.
Yeah.
And we're here for SEC After Dark, and I do want to let you know, hey there, college sports fans. If you want to show your allegiance down to your socks, DeadSoxy has got you covered with vibrant socks in your team's colors, whether it's purple and gold, crimson, or cardinal. DeadSoxy is the place to go. You found a pair you like? Subscribe for big-time perks like a constant 25% discount, early access to exclusive styles, and free shipping. Plus, we are welcome new members with a free gift, so why wait? Find your new favorite socks at DeadSoxy.com now. Anyway, guys, we'll do our Bet Online read in just a second. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good, actually. It was a good week.
Doing great.
Now that Corey's not here, we can kind of talk about him behind his back.
I always like the show is like normal.
And also it's really cool. Florida's mascot, by the way, this is like the Corey experience is Albert Gator. Mm-hmm. So it's Al E Gator. And then there's Allie Gator. Yep. Is their two mascots. And I think
it's not confusing at all.
Yeah.
No.
It's pretty cute, honestly.
But Steve, like you said before the show, the best part about that graphic is the half empty stadium behind it from
it's not half empty. That's 3/4 empty.
Yeah. Oh, Vandy.
My wife genuinely loves Vanderbilt's football stadium, or she did before they did the construction because it looked like a ship the way it was set up. Mm-hmm. And she genuinely liked that. Anyway, before we get started, it's time to get locked on pickles. Stewart's Cajun Pickles, that is, offering a variety of Cajun spice products like pickles, green beans, okra, even carrots and asparagus. This is a family-owned company, homemade on the coast of Mississippi. Cajun dill pickles from Stewart's has been pleasing pickle lovers for over 20 years now, and they've become the South's favorite pickle. These are the best pickles you'll ever have, a strong dill flavor with a Cajun punch, no over sour taste. This being a small business, they strive to keep the produce fresh and local from the start, keeping the final pickle product extra crisp and crunchy. You can find these pickle products online at pickledstore.com or at your local Rouse's Market and other southern stores near you. Be sure to like Cajun Dill Pickles from Stewart on Facebook and Instagram. Try these pickles, okra and beans today. You will not be disappointed. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, the South's favorite pickles. Justin actually reached out to me and said they do not do quail eggs. We talked about that last week. Yeah. So the person in the chat got that confused. They do all the fantastic Cajun spices. So I do recommend everybody check that out. I think we've all done a taste test going through the season right now. So
cool.
It is the third Saturday in October, and I'm glad you two decided to come to work because Alligator did not. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be an interesting situation. I'm expecting Alabama to probably win the game, honestly. They probably have the better football team. But this game has a chance to get very weird because Tennessee has a really good defense. Alabama has a really good offense. And neither team has really a good quarterback. So I think like the 2009 Mount Cody game, I think that may be redone Saturday in Tuscaloosa.
I do think they have surprisingly similar quarterbacks. The difference being that Jalen Milroe is younger and will get better, whereas Milton just is what he is. But at the same time, right now for this game, they are very similar. So it could be interesting. Tennessee runs the ball really well, which I really like. But Alabama's got that strong defense, like you said. Can we run on them? I have no idea.
Yeah, I think the front seven is going to be crucial for Alabama this week to stop that rushing attack because you saw what Florida did to that rushing attack a few weeks ago, and that's how Tennessee got behind the 8 ball real quick against Florida, and they could never recover. So if Alabama can at least I think what do you got guys averaging like 150, 175, yards a game, something like that. So if Alabama can keep you around 100, I think they have a chance.
Yeah, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but there was some stat since Hypo got to Tennessee, or at least since in 2022 and 2023. If we ran for over 150 yards, he was undefeated at that point.
Right.
But if it was under, then he had a terrible record. So that is, I think, definitely what you need to do is try and keep Tennessee from rushing the ball this week. Which your front seven is great. Of course, down the flip side, Tennessee's front seven is doing really well this year, especially getting to the quarterback. Jalen Milroe, being younger, is going to be running for his life a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll be enough to actually stop Alabama, but it should be at least fun to watch.
You brought up an interesting stat. I got one for you for the Alabama side, Jeb and Steve. When Jace McClellan gets at least 50 yards a game and a game rushing, Alabama's 15-0 in those games. So I mean, all we gotta do is get him to get 50 yards, and it's almost a shoot. I don't know why that stat's there. I guess because he's been there for a while and had Matt Jones and Bryce Young as his quarterbacks. So that kind of helped out. But
y'all win most of your games, but it does.
Yeah,
that's still an interesting stat. Okay.
Yeah, Nick Saban's won 88% of his games at Alabama.
Yeah.
And if you take out 2007, it's probably like 93.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
With last year being one of his worst years, it was still a good year. So
just
not a normal one.
I mean, 10-2, and I mean, Alabama fans are losing their minds over it. It's crazy. I mean, how many college football programs will have a 10-2 season every single year? Right. Right. So we're just too spoiled. We're spoiled as fans, as Alabama fans. I'll just go ahead and say it.
Yeah, and it's going to be bad, Jake, and you're my boy and everything. But after Nick Saban leaves, the whole conference is just going to sit back and enjoy the Ray Perkins beautifulness that's about to happen.
Probably so. Until that next one comes in, whoever that might be.
Yeah, I think it's going to be smart eventually. This is my prediction. And I'm not saying that Nick Saban is retiring this year. Don't think that at all. That's not what I'm saying. I think when Nick Saban does retire, Alabama's going to try and get Dan Lanning. And Alabama should try and get Dan Lanning.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if Dan Lanning will come the first. I don't know if he's going to be the guy that replaces Saban. I think Dan Lanning is going to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaces Saban.
All right.
You talk about big shoes to fill after Saban does retire. I mean, you go talk to any coach that's like, man, I don't know if I want to live in that spotlight and try to build my own program behind that. It's just it's crazy.
What Alabama has to be careful about, they can't hire a Dan Mullen.
Right.
They have to find somebody that can fail, because that's what that position is designed for, is to fail, because you're replacing a legend, but not completely break the program in the process.
Right.
So not a Derek Dooley is what you're saying. Or you just smash the program for years to come.
What about Butch Jones?
Hey, Butch didn't smash as hard as Derek.
That's true.
That guy just destroyed it. But and Butch helped put some of it back together. He just couldn't go very far with it,
Right.
Which may be kind of what you need. Like I said, somebody just doesn't let it slip too far. Yeah, Dan's the Oregon coach.
Yeah. Didn't Butch have a 9-win season one year with Tennessee?
That does not sound correct. Oh, a 9-win season. Yeah, that might have been one, actually.
Yeah, I think it was one.
For some reason, I thought you said 9-1. I was like, I don't see how that's possible.
No, not a 9-win season.
Yeah. No, I think. Well, yeah, if you count the bowl game, I think so. But and he could win bowl games. He like I said, he wasn't a terrible coach. Right. It's just he could only do certain things. He could recruit pretty well. He wasn't a very good on the field coach, and you just knew you weren't going to get past a certain level with him. So you had to move on at some point. Unfortunately, we moved on to Jeremy Pruitt, which was another mistake. So between Derek Dooley and Jeremy Pruitt, we've hurt ourselves pretty bad. That's why we're so excited about Coach Heupel. He's doing things right.
Yeah, for the last 20 years, you just heard Benny Hill music coming out of Knoxville.
Yeah, this is true. This is it's been rough, and it doesn't help trying to rebuild your program in the SEC where Nick Saban is running Alabama, and now we see where Georgia's gotten to, and it makes it hard to rebuild when you've got those people on your schedule every year. And then we have both y'all every year.
And Texas and Oklahoma, it's not going to be any joke.
No, it's not going to get easier. That's why I'm glad we found Heupel now, because it's going to get worse after this, which might be a reason A&M doesn't want to lose their coach.
Well, and I think the success that what's his name over at Oklahoma now is having this year, I think that kind of saved, them looking at Heupel in a few, long run. So maybe Tennessee's got a coach for a while.
Yeah, I think they're happy with the coach they have. So
I think Heupel and Oklahoma broke up poorly.
I think they did too.
Yeah. That was our hope when they started talking about him. Was no, he doesn't want to go back there.
Right.
But I mean, I'm sure he still loves the school. It's where he played. But
yeah, but like Joe Castiglione is still there. He's been there for 20 years. So the same reason that he is probably ticked off at Oklahoma is probably still there.
Good.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to lose him now.
It's a situation, but the problem is, now we all remember in the preseason how everybody talked about how the quarterback position at Tennessee and how they weren't going to miss a beat, and Hendon Hooker was going to be everything. He was everything. Joe Milton was going to pick it up and continue that. He looked fine in the Orange Bowl. Joe Milton's going to be the guy. Rah, rah, rah. Joe Milton has quietly put up a 13th or 14th quarterbacking season this season in the SEC. If Tennessee had a pass offense, Georgia would be in legit trouble this year with the other parts of Tennessee's game, which lets you know that if Tennessee ever picks a game and they figure out the passing game, and that can be this week, it can be whenever, you're probably going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
But as it sits right now, I'm not sure if Joe Milton or Peyton Thorne is number 14 in quarterbacking. I think I would take Mike Wright ahead of both of them. I'll put it like that.
I would. I think I put Robbie Ashford ahead of him too. And I had to say, I mean, I watched that Auburn game last week. There was one series where Robbie Ashford got the ball and he was driving right down the field. Peyton, they removed him, put Peyton Thorne back in, and he threw 3 straight incompletions, and they had a punt. So, I mean,
we'll talk about Auburn in just a second, but Joe Milton, everybody knows my favorite Joe Milton joke. If you want the ball thrown 40 yards, Joe Milton can, by God, throw the football 40 yards. If you need the ball thrown 20 yards, Joe Milton can throw the ball 40 yards. That is the joke. That's never going to change. And the problem is, I think Tennessee is not running 40-yard routes. I think that might be the problem with the Tennessee passing game.
That's a good point. It's kind of sad that they didn't have success against that secondary of A&M's last week, because I mean, Jalen Milroe kind of took advantage of some of that secondary and a few weeks ago, and I mean, Joe Milton couldn't. It's kind of odd to see.
Becky, even after Joe Milton graduates, you will hear that joke.
Yeah,
just like the joke that Dan Mullen robbed from me, that Florida will be defeated by the Atlantic before Kentucky beats them. Yeah. That obviously is just completely thrown away now.
I don't know. Milton's not been terrible this season. He's just not been good. And in this system, it's set up for quarterbacks to do really, really well. So it looks worse, I think. But, I mean, he's got 10 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. It's not horrible. He's got less interceptions than A.J. Swan or Devin Leary. He's got a better completion percentage than Devin Leary. He just hasn't thrown nearly as much. But
did you say he had 4 interceptions is all?
Yeah, just 4 interceptions, 10 touchdowns.
Well, it's because he throws the ball so hard, the defender can't catch it.
Well, yeah, nobody can catch it. So
you have to double up gloves if you're playing against Joe Milton.
That's
he can throw an orange 100 yards.
Right. That's funny you said that, Jeb, because you know who also has 4 interceptions on the year and
Who's
still a Heisman candidate, and that's Caleb Williams.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, he had a rough game this last game.
My God, is there any team that is more fraudulent than USC?
They are so soft on defense.
Oh, my God. Sharman extra soft. Lincoln Riley. He's got a type, man.
I don't understand that. Hire a defensive coordinator. It can't be that hard.
Right.
He's tried like 4 times. He basically hired Mike Leach's guy. Alex Grinch was Washington State's defensive coordinator on a year that Washington State made the championship game.
Yeah.
Alex Grinch went to Ohio State, then went to Oklahoma and followed him to USC. Think about that career path.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State, Oklahoma, USC, and he can't stop a nosebleed.
Can't. They can't cover air right now. It's ridiculous.
Whenever you make Notre Dame look like an offensive juggernaut, it's time to self-evaluate.
Yeah, this is true. That's bad.
Notre Dame practically invented the forward pass. They haven't improved on it since.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to get into Pac-12 after dark, but talking about that game, it was late in the second quarter. It was right before halftime, and USC, they had just stopped. Notre Dame had just stopped USC. It's like on a second down. Well, they come running up into to the line. 3 of Notre Dame's players are still in the backfield, celebrating. I'm like, what are y'all doing, guys? So they're, Sam Freeman had to call a timeout, which the guy still made the field goal, but either give him 5 extra yards, 3 yards, or make him get that long field goal, and he still made it. But man, I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Since we're already on Pac-12 after dark, I'm gonna give y'all my Pac-12 take. The Pac-12 is
hello, guys. How are we doing?
How we doing,
We
Alex?
thought you might have been on bye week like Georgia is.
I thought about it. No, I was just running behind. We had a little late go at practice, some film issues, and got home late, and so got home later than I usually do.
All right, that's cool. I'm not cutting you off. We just have to. I don't want to forget my take.
Go with your hot take.
The Pac-12 is fraudulent. Everybody talks like the Pac-12 is the best conference in the NCAA. It is fraudulent. You have Washington, which has an offense that has a chance to be pretty good. Defensive, we have questions about it. Oregon got beat by that Washington team. Oregon State got boat raced by Washington State, who got boat raced by Arizona, who got beat by Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado is all of this narrative got started because of Colorado beating TCU. TCU is crap. All of these teams that we thought are good are actually what we thought they were in the preseason. It just happened to work out that way, and the SEC lost some head-to-head games. LSU lost to Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Those type games. And that narrative got built up, and now everybody talks about how big the Pac-12 is. The Pac-12, Oregon State jumped Ole Miss this week.
Who is everybody, Steve?
The media. The media is everybody. Because they're the ones carrying this narrative.
Where?
I'm about to tell you. Oregon State jumped Ole Miss in the poll this week, in the AP poll. Why? Because the Pac-12 is the superior conference to the SEC. The Ole Miss loss is to Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Lord knows that's never happened before. Ole Miss has 2 ranked wins, including one of them on the road. Oregon State has 2 ranked wins because they just beat UCLA and they didn't fall out of the poll. But their loss is to Washington State that just got 44-6 beat down by Arizona. And Oregon State jumped up 4 spots in the poll because of the narrative that the Pac-12 is the superior conference in football this year.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean the SEC has always been a little bit cannibalistic as far as beating up on each other. I wouldn't put too much stock into this whole. I think Oregon State will fall out. I think the proof will be in the pudding in the long run.
Alabama keeps winning and does not move up.
Yeah, we're still
everybody
11.
else moves up 3 things. Alabama. This is Alabama we're talking about. Wins a game, does not move up. I think they are setting it up to where the narrative is out there to where the SEC misses the playoff.
Yeah, because I mean Georgia's just trying to lose a game.
Or without Brock Bowers, they might now.
Especially that 3-game stretch has turned real in a hurry.
Yeah, because Missouri is actually good.
Florida turned real in a hurry. I mean,
the 4-game stretch. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it's not and Georgia Tech just became not easy.
Mm-hmm.
unless we get Brock Bowers back for that one. But like the rest of the season, we're going to go limping into the SEC championship. Hopefully we get everybody back by then. Hopefully we make it to that point. But yeah, it's gonna be a rough road there. And I think here's what I see happening, Steve. And this is gonna suck for the SEC, but like I have a hard time seeing Michigan lose. I think they're going to boat race Ohio State, and I'm not sure that Penn State has enough in the tank to beat Michigan. So I think Michigan will eventually be the number one team in the country. I think Florida State will win out because they just don't play anybody.
Yep.
I think Oklahoma will win out because the Big 12 is not as great as everybody thought they were. And I think there's a good chance Washington could win out. So you got 4 undefeated teams right there.
And they're counting on the fact that somebody is going to get Georgia.
And I have a sneaky feeling that, Tennessee on the road is never an easy game. The Ole Miss game, we're going to be one of those.
Has turned into a sandwich game.
Yeah. Ole Miss is going to be Ole Miss, because of where they are in the schedule, could be that game.
From your lips to God's ear.
That would probably be that game. Now, Kirby, I hope you're hearing me. That's going to be the game, so that you make sure that you get the guys up for that game. But
I've already said on my podcast, and I am dead serious about this. If Ole Miss went 12-1, won the rest of their games out, Alabama, let's say, dropped the game against LSU, Ole Miss made it to the SEC championship game. All of this, whatever has to happen. If Ole Miss went 12-1, the best Ole Miss can hope for is 5th.
Without some of the key losses, that might be true.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to. I don't know who's left on. I just don't think Michigan's going to lose, but we got to hope that one of these Big 12 teams jumps up and nabs and picks off Oklahoma out of the picture. Florida State's not going to lose. If they lose, then they shouldn't be in it in the first place.
I think somebody needs to pick off Texas, and then in the Big 12 championship game, Texas needs to take out Oklahoma.
It's very possible. Florida State's got Duke this weekend, so that game is not easy.
Have they taken Imodium?
Yes.
You're right,
I'm gonna get judged by Becky on that one.
I just picked up on your reference. I was like, oh yeah. Hopefully they're not farting too much.
Yeah, like Texas A&M.
Yeah,
we covered that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was an interesting take. That was Jimbo. People didn't want to believe that Jimbo was. And I know, Steve, you were drinking the Kool-Aid because you had to and needed them to beat Bama, but
now I just need them to be average. They can lose every freaking game. Now I'm rooting for the circus.
Yeah, now it's
Texas 4-8.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I love Texas 4-8.
Yeah, they're hustling backwards.
$100 million contract, 10 wins in 2 years.
And his buyout really bottoms out at $64 million next year.
All right.
Maybe. Hey, if they wanted to, if they really wanted to do this, and the Texas A&M could probably get Kevin Sumlin in the cut rate.
Oh, yeah.
Be a great hire.
Maybe Dennis Franchione, possibly.
That's another good one.
I know somebody who's probably about to be available.
Mike Sherman,
and they don't have to buy him out. Butch Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, he can.
They can have
build them up brick by brick. Actually, Billy Napier. They just need to go get him and bring him there so they can bring the game changer coordinator. Because at Texas A&M, all of that stuff would make sense.
Yeah, the game changer coordinator. Oh God, I forgot they had that position.
Yeah.
Just call it special teams, okay? Just be normal.
Or do like Lane Kiffin, ignore it.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good strategy.
Yeah. You kick it through the end zone on kickoffs, so we don't necessarily need special teams. the irony is we have probably one of the best kickers in the SEC.
Yeah.
Just never use them.
Yeah, just never use him. The guy made a 56 or 57-yard field goal against Tulane.
That is impressive.
They could no. Speaking of not using kickers, they could hire the dude that doesn't punt.
That guy got hired by Presbyterian and lasted 1 year because he was getting like 80-0.
Yeah, he
tried that crap. Yeah,
he was such a disaster. Yeah,
Hey,
I remember that.
Speaking of punts, did y'all see last week that Vandy's punter has had over 11,000 yardage in punts? That's the most Vandy stat ever.
Yeah, he's gotten plenty of work. I'll give him that.
Who is that
record?
Yeah,
that Matt Mitchell that does the roll call around the SEC every week. He did the whole thing talking about Brock Bowers' ankle, and the Georgia fan was like, just how about an ankle transplant? And the Vandy guy's like, you can't do that. And he's like, you're just saying that because of some reason. No, he's like, no, I'm saying that because I'm Vandy.
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah. The good medical program, but that's about it.
Hey,
baseball.
I am a huge fan of Vanderbilt Medical.
Mm-hmm.
I spent the whole month of August in 2019 in Vandy's Neuro ICU. So thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Vandy could handle, there you go. If Vandy could handle pediatric autism patients a little bit better, that would be wonderful.
I just know that they apparently do valet parking.
Yeah.
Well, they do that.
Yeah,
they do that at Centennial too. That's I think that's a common thing at hospitals.
Yeah, it is. But my wife talked about it quite a bit whenever that was going on. So
I think for pediatrics in Nashville, don't you go in to St. Thomas?
We go to Centennial for all our pediatric neurology.
Well, not to get too crazy on medical, but that's who did all my heart stuff. So with Centennial, I like they're fine.
Welcome to Nashville Hospitals After Dark.
Yeah, we've tried all the hospitals. We know them all.
We did St. Thomas for birth, Vandy and Centennial for epilepsy. So
okay.
Now I do
Brain
Tampa
hearts.
General Hospital for neurosurgery.
I just do General Hospital on TV. Oh,
And we're doing all the UABs for Cassie's pregnancy. So
okay.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's hospitals around the Southeast.
Right.
Yeah.
After dark.
After dark.
Yeah.
Oh, Corey, do you want to give us the Bet Online read? I did not do that at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. So in case you missed it, we are also presented by betonline.ag. It's your number one source for all your sports wagering needs. If you want to bet it, they have it. No problem. The NHL just got kicked off. MLB playoffs are in full swing. Unfortunately, the Braves are not still in it.
Red October.
NFL and college football are also in full swing, so you can get plenty of action there. Just head to betonline.ag and enter the promo code Bleav. That's BLEAV to get your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Again, that's BLEAV, Bleav, to get your first or to get a welcome bonus of 50% on your first deposit. So betonline.ag, it's where the game starts. And
Definitely
they will
starts there.
It starts there. Thanks to Syracuse and FSU, I missed my parlay. Last parlay I played. I took 3 overs, and I thought about, because I took Georgia Vandy on the over, took Bama Arkansas on the over, and I took Syracuse and FSU on the over. What I should have done was played the Michigan game as the third game and either taken the over or taking Michigan minus 33, and I would have hit on either one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have hit my parlay for $110.
Actually, we need to be real about something because we're about halfway through the show, so it's about time for picks. We need to comment, by the way, and I think the shout out needs to be done because, well, Becky went undefeated last week on picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It went undefeated. I mean, even got picked Arkansas.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah. None of us had to go pick Vandy.
Oh.
None of us could do that. I mean,
And
Vanderbilt, really? Oh.
is picked Vanderbilt and got that one right. I think Becky described it as Lane Kiffin going for it on fourth down.
Wait,
her
no,
strategy.
she did not. What did Washington win by?
It was a push.
That was a push.
It was a push.
Mm-hmm.
They won by 3.
Check yourself, Corey. Don't try to take this from me.
6-0-1.
There you go.
It was a sea of green. That's all anybody needs to know.
The green wave. I went 2-4, so I can't really say much.
Yeah, you ain't got no room to talk. You're still in last place, big boy.
Yeah,
If you're not careful, you're in the South Carolina realm.
Yeah.
no, because I'm getting down there. at,
Arkansas.
Arkansas, A&M,
Auburn. Yeah.
I'm hustling backwards.
Yeah, Becky was in dead last place to the point where I was making fun of her 3 weeks ago, and now she's leading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She took that as motivation, Steve.
Yeah. It was rat poison.
Sliding right
apparently.
Yeah, rat poison.
Yummy rat poison.
Yeah.
Becky is that horse at the horse track where you bet on the horse and it's in last by 10 miles and you're trying to figure out how fast you can take it to the glue factory. And then all of a sudden wins.
Rich Strike. That's what Rich Strike did a few years ago.
Yep.
I feel very conflicted by
Breaks
that,
late.
Corey.
We're not selling you to the glue factory. You're welcome.
No.
We're telling you make really good late runs, Becky.
You're confused
To
why
win.
I'm not being sold at this point.
Yeah.
No, I'm not confused. I'm saying that's your trend. You start at the back and then you surge ahead.
I just wanted y'all to feel like big, strong, smart men for just a few weeks into the season before I dominated you.
I mean,
Becky
you're
was
welcome.
last year's champion. I feel like
yeah.
halfway through the season,
Co-champion.
we're about to repeat co-champion.
I mean, I think it was like this last year too. Like Becky was just kind of hanging back, let all of us get tired, and then boom, she gets.
I think the problem is this is the problem. Becky sucks at picking non-conference games. So when all the non-conference games are going up, we get a little pad over. But once the conference games start and each game's mean much more, she just puts a couple of these 6-0 weeks together, and we're just like, what is going on? I went 2-5. How is she going 7-0? She picked Vanderbilt.
And covered.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, George.
Michael Speck said, "Who's escorting Hugh to the game this weekend?"
Probably
Diamond.
Diamond, Cherry,
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Ooh, cinnamon. That's a good one.
Sasha.
No,
Yeah,
not so
don't
sure.
ever. What is it? Don't ever date a woman named after a spice or a city
Or a sports car.
or.
Yeah, you never played cards against somebody named after a state. Anyway,
Kid Cincinnati. Yeah, the Minneapolis kid.
Mhm.
yeah. Or like Forrest Gump. There was Dallas. He was from Ohio.
Mhm.
And Texas. Well, I don't know where Tex was from. Anyway, so
That gag is never not funny. It just is. All right, so let's get into the picks this week.
let's do picks.
Picks.
Corey needs to make his picks first.
Right.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, you know how I go. I was so enamored by the 6-0 record here. Okay, give me 1 second, Steve. Go hit us with the ad read real quick.
All right, so we need to let you know that today's picks are brought to you by Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles. It's time to get locked on those pickles. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, that is, offering a variety of Cajun spice products like pickles, green beans, okra, and even carrots and asparagus. This is a family-owned company, homemade on the coast of Mississippi. Their dill pickles have been pleasing pickle lovers for over 20 years now, and it's become the South's favorite pickle. These are truly the best pickles you'll ever have. It's a strong deal flavor with a Cajun punch, and you'll never have an overly sour taste. This being a small business, they strive to keep the produce fresh and local from the start, keeping the final pickle product extra crisp and crunchy.
Don't forget to refrigerate.
You can find these pickled products online at thepickedstore.com or at your local Rouse's Market or other southern stores around you along the Gulf Coast area. Be sure to like Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickle products on Facebook and Instagram. Try these pickles, okra, and beans today. You will not be disappointed. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, the South's favorite pickles. And everybody, it's time for our pickle picks.
Yeah.
Pickle picks.
And before, I had a pickle and some green beans for supper tonight out of Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles. So there you go.
Excellent.
All right. As always, you know the rules to the picks.
Obviously, if you play along in the chat.
Play along in the chat and give us your selections, and surely you'll do better than me. All right. And Jake, look for us a bonus game.
Okay. All right, we'll do.
All right, here we go. Our first game of the weekend. I'll go first and get the heck out of the way so that the real pickers can pick. We have Mississippi State traveling to Arkansas. Arkansas is 6-point favorites against the Bulldogs. Probably the only game that they're going to have a spread this big for the rest of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and take Arkansas. They have shown me a great deal of being able to hang with teams and punch above their weight. They finally get a team that's on their level or maybe even slightly below, depending on how you look at it. So I'm going to take Arkansas, and I think KJ Jefferson is going to take this game. So, Steve, I'm going to go to you.
It's a situation where you have a Will Rogers probably less than 100%, a Mississippi State offense that's not been particularly good. Mississippi State defense has given up 90% completion percentage to the opponents. I mean, it's like video game type stuff. So give me the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Pick Suey. Jeb?
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. Mississippi State is just having a rough year. And Arkansas, they're not good, but they, like you said, they're playing well. They're just not winning. I think this is a game they win. And so I'm taking them to cover that.
Jake?
Yeah, the dynamic duo here is taking Arkansas. As everybody mentioned, Arkansas is not a bad team. I mean, they've had fourth quarter leads. They just can't finish games. That's their issue. But I guess Mississippi State, I don't think they're going to have any issues. Mississippi State's just horrible right now. And so give me Arkansas to cover this easily.
And Champ?
You guys are all right. Arkansas did us proud last week. I was proud of them. They really tried. And Mississippi State is gloriously terrible. So this should be fun to watch. Arkansas is going to dominate.
I don't think it's going to be fun to watch, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun to put this in green on our pick sheet. How about that?
Wrong kid, Doug.
All right. South Carolina travels to Faurot Field in Columbia, Missouri. Missouri is 7-point favorites at home against a coach that's probably going to be on crutches or a walking boot because he broke his foot getting mad and throwing a tantrum. That is Shane Beamer. The team that can't finish in the second half. I'm taking Mizzou here because not only are they good and they have some weapons and a superstar weapon in Luther Burden, but you couple that with the fact that South Carolina just goes completely soft and non-existent in the second half. I think that's a recipe for disaster for the Gamecocks, especially on the road. Faurot Field can be a pretty tough place to play when they're up, but when they're not up, it's a very easy place to play. So there's no like in between. It's either really easy or like extremely difficult. And so I think it's going to be more on the difficult end for South Carolina. Give me Mizzou.
I think Mizzou is close to Georgia. They're the team that have probably the best chance to get Georgia, believe it or not. But the game's in Athens. I think Mizzou is going to continue to build their resume as we start getting into their more difficult games like Georgia, and I think they play Florida and they play Tennessee. Yeah. Those go on. Those are going to be where the rubber meets the road a little bit. But I think the Missouri Tigers are going to take care of South Carolina because South Carolina is honestly just not good.
Yeah, I tend to agree. My only pause here is I feel like South Carolina is due like one good game. They're going to have one of those that we didn't see coming. I just can't pick them for it to be this week. Missouri is just playing so much better than I thought they would. I'm taking them to cover this week.
Yeah, we're picking Missouri as well. Missouri kind of sleptwalked through that first quarter. Then the second through the fourth, they just lit Kentucky out last week. Kentucky had no answers for him, and so Missouri is looking like a real deal right now. So give me Missouri to keep playing hot and set up a big matchup in a few weeks with Georgia.
I feel like this one's going to be one of those like back in school where you answer a question on the test and then you go back and you second guess yourself, so you change it. I initially picked South Carolina and then I went back and changed it to Missouri. I'm going to keep it Missouri, but I kind of think South Carolina's going to straight up win this game.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
I'm picking Missouri. I'm sticking with that pick, but I think South Carolina's going to surprise everybody this weekend.
I'm telling you, they're going to have one of those games at some point.
They did that against Mississippi State. That was that game.
Oh.
No, it was Mississippi State. You can't say that.
Yeah, but they put up 45 points or something like that.
And you just kind of put Missouri in the same category as Georgia, which makes me more want to go back and change my pick to South Carolina.
Do it. Do it.
I'm gonna stick with Missouri, but no.
We'll let you triple stamp a double stamp.
Nah.
All right.
You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? No, I'm kidding.
All right, we got a couple bonus games if you guys will go to your pick sheets. We had two really, really good games. Okay, so here's an interesting non-conference game. So Becky probably won't go undefeated in this one, but because we said that she doesn't pick non-conference games very well.
They're playing
unless they're pushes like last week's was, and she's undefeated still.
True. All right, so
the
Army
only chance is Ohio State and Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other one's 14.5 points. It can't be a push.
Yeah, that's true.
So Army travels to LSU. Hoorah. Army is 30-point favorites. Now, I think Army will score 10 points. I don't know that LSU can score above 40 because Army's going to hold on to the ball. I don't think they're going to have time with the new clock rules and the way Army operates. I don't know that LSU is going to have time to beat them by 30. So I'm going to take Army to cover.
In this game, if LSU wants to cover, they cover. This is I do recommend that everybody go look on Twitter at the way LSU painted their field for this game. They actually did camouflage end zones, which it's the old style camouflage, like 1985 camouflage. Check that out.
All right, looks like.
But if LSU wants to cover this game, they're going to cover this game. Okay. So give me LSU.
Yeah, and that's I hear what you're saying. I know Army is real bad about holding onto the ball for a long time and making it difficult to cover just because of the points. LSU offense has just been so explosive, and it's at their stadium at night. I just feel like they're going to get up for this game and just have a big game. So I'm taking LSU to cover on this one with reservations. But what are you going to do?
We are split in the household here. I'm taking Army. I'm kind of like with Corey. Army, where they operate on offense, they hold the ball a long time. Even with bad Army teams, you've seen them play some top-tier talent really, really hard, kind of like they did at Oklahoma a few years ago, took them to overtime. I'm not saying they're going to take overtime to LSU this year, but I see them covering that 30-point spread. And, of course, Cassie's taking LSU.
Army keeps it within 17. So I'm picking Army to cover the spread.
Oh,
I was going to say like 24, but 17. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say like they barely cover.
Yeah.
On that one, I just pictured Becky with an envelope to her head. And was it Karnak on Johnny Carson from back in the day? She's like 17-point win.
Mm.
What is LSU versus Army? Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. I think we should be pretty.
Hey, that is my mom. by the way.
Hi,
Scaring,
Mom.
Hi, Mom.
hey, scaring the living daylights out of me.
Oh, wow.
Hey, boys.
Hello.
Going.
She getting the pickle shine tonight.
Yeah,
Definitely got the pickle shine.
yeah.
Oh.
And she didn't share either.
No.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love it. This is.
that's cool.
Hey, do you get this anywhere else?
No.
No.
You do not. All right. So Ole Miss, 6.5-point favorites on the Plains at Auburn. I like Ole Miss here. I think Auburn just has too many quarterback issues, too many just general issues. I know this is going to be pretty much their Super Bowl. And Lane Kiffin retweeted an article saying that he should be fired if he loses this game. This is the Steve Willis Bowl here. And I like Jackson Dart a lot. I like the weapons Ole Miss has, and I think they're going to be utilized against Auburn. So I'm taking Ole Miss.
Okay, and I will say the same thing I've said on the radio all over Alabama this week. If Ole Miss plays its best and Auburn plays its best, Ole Miss will win this game by 28 points. Ole Miss has a better football team than the Auburn Tigers. But I understand that weird stuff happens at Jordan-Hare Stadium. It's going to be imperative that Ole Miss doesn't turn the ball over. Hey, Lane Kiffin, don't go for it on fourth down. Just kick the ball. Make Auburn's offense provide the energy in that stadium, and you'll be taking a nap by halftime. But if you let Auburn get in the game, it's going to be a dogfight. I do think Ole Miss is going to win this game and cover.
Yeah, I don't think there's much doubt between most people that Ole Miss is the better team this year. The question is, in the past, when it comes to playing Auburn, man, things can get weird there. But I just haven't seen it this year from Auburn. I'm sorry, they're just not a very good team this year. I feel like Ole Miss is just much better. They're coached better. They're playing better. If they don't cover this one, I would be shocked. So I'm taking Ole Miss to cover.
I'm sorry. I've been keeping up with the chat, and there's a battle between Army and Navy in the chat going on. So I was trying, that's getting interesting. But anyway, yeah.
Becky's multitasking.
Yeah.
Love it.
So yeah. I'm picking
beat Navy.
We're picking Ole Miss here. 6.5-point spread. That sounds a little low, and just personally for me, I feel like Ole Miss should be at least a 10-point favorite here. So yeah, I'm easily picking Ole Miss here. It does get a little weird down on the Plains, but I think Ole Miss got a whole lot better team than Auburn does at this moment.
This is my favorite comment, Becky.
Yeah.
Well, he was in the Army, so it probably took him a while to work it out.
Navy stands for never again volunteer yourself.
And nobody's in the comments arguing for Air Force because none of us were smart enough to get in the Air Force.
And Marine stands for my ass rides and Navy equipment.
Oh,
The best one, though, is at the Marines. That's a men's department of the Navy. Thank you. But anywho, this game makes me nervous with Ole Miss v. Auburn because this is one of those that Lane Kiffin wants to not win, but absolutely dominate and shove it down their throats. And so he's going to make some questionable calls and poor decisions, I feel like. However, they're going to pay off, and it's going to reinforce his I can make these crazy calls thing. And we are going to absolutely curb stomp Auburn this weekend.
And before we move on to the next game, this is a rumor. This is not fact. I'm not reporting it, but this is what has been going around. But the infamous John Sokoloff tweet that said Lane Kiffin was going to Auburn, the rumor is it was a plant from Hugh Freeze.
Oh.
So that week and everything that went on, Lane Kiffin might blame Hugh Freeze for that happening. Ole Miss's media has been locked out of practice this week.
Which could cause him to make some stupid calls.
Yeah.
Lane gets emotional.
He does that. I think he absolutely does not believe in momentum, but that's another discussion for another day.
That is true. All right. Speaking of a discussion for a different day, we're going to have this discussion right now. The third Saturday in October puts Tennessee up against Alabama. Tennessee traveling a year after beating Alabama at home. They are now 9.5-point underdogs in Bryant-Denny Stadium. For me personally, I just think it's going to be a close game. I'm not real sure. I want to commit to a winner just yet, but I think it's going to be under 9.5. So that's going to give Tennessee the cover. So I think they're going to at least cover the spread. They have a chance to win outright. This game could get really tricky. This game could go about 500 million different directions at any given time. And for that reason, I always like to take the underdog and the points here. So I'm taking Tennessee.
I just realized something. I originally had Alabama selected in this game, and I've been talking to people off air this whole time. It's like, this game is going to be like the 2009 game with Mount Cody. And I thought about it, it's like, well, that game was like 13-12 or something like that. That is not 9 points. And I don't know if either offense is particularly good enough to have a spread like that. I think a 17-10 might be in our future. And even if Alabama wins that, Alabama's not going to cover. So I think Alabama wins but does not cover.
All right. I'm trying to keep this short. Look at objectively just at the two teams. I think they are very evenly matched to the point where I feel like, yes, a close game is what you should expect. Knowing the two teams and just look at them historically, especially in the last few years, I feel like there's only really one of two outcomes here. Either A, Tennessee squeaks out a win, which of course would cover, or B, Alabama has a comfortable win and covers fine. I don't really think that Tennessee's going to cover but not win. I don't think Alabama's going to have a real close win. I just don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be one or the other. And I think if I had to put money down on it, the money would be Alabama gets a comfortable win this year. I just don't think Tennessee has the team that they've had the last couple of years. And just Joe Milton, I just don't.
You're not a Joe Milton fan, are you?
I'm not. So that being said, I'm taking the Vols by 3 touchdowns. Oh yeah, I just changed it. Vols.
Okay. I'll be on the boat by myself here. Cassie's going with me too. But here's the thing. All right, Jeb, not you personally, but Tennessee fans have lost their ever-loving freaking minds over one win in 16 years against Alabama.
3 touchdowns.
Jeb, he meant that person.
No. It's just the fact Alabama has yet to play a perfect game. I'm not saying they're going to do it this week, but as we have said, I feel like a home game, gives you at least a touchdown lead, and then all Alabama's got to do is kick a field goal to win outright and cover as well. So I could see Alabama scoring maybe 20, 24 points, and it'd be like 24-14 type game, and Alabama does cover. But I do expect it to be a good game.
Okay, before we move to Becky's. Wait.
Okay.
Before we move to Becky's, I got to comment on this comment. It comes to who makes the least mistakes. I don't know if y'all saw the Tennessee A&M game, but that was the most mistakes I've ever seen on a field by two teams. It was the most ridiculous thing. And good Lord, that hurt. I'm not sure how I survived that weekend. That was terrible.
The reason I put this up here is the Alabama fan probably doesn't realize it, but he's basically doing the number one axiom of General Neyland's axiom of Tennessee football: the team that makes the least mistakes will win. And I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
that's my buddy Justin. His Bama Stone Networks. He's got a former Alabama player on there that does co-host with him. He's a cool cat. So thanks for coming on tonight, Justin.
Well, the team that scores the most points is going to win, right?
Great analogy.
Hey, don't mess with General Neyland's axioms now.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss had David Cutcliffe maxims. Hey, I had Charles Stackhouse on. I interviewed him tonight for tomorrow night's on the show, and he talked about every game before it started. Those maxims got read, and he actually talked about the team that makes the least mistake and all of that. So it was fresh on my mind. So
there you go.
All right, Becky, your turn.
All right. Well, Jeb, you said Tennessee may squeak by and win. Is that what you said?
Yes.
No, he's going to do it.
Oh,
Here it comes
off the top rope.
Here it comes.
Tennessee ain't squeaking by shit. They're slamming that door open and right down Alabama's throat.
3 touchdowns.
Frog
This is going to
splash.
be where
Frog
people
splash.
start asking, is Saban losing his touch?
Oh,
And of course, Saban's not losing his touch, but Tennessee's going to make it look that way this weekend. I'm so sorry, Jake.
Beck, I have to
Hey.
disagree with you. Saban retires after this game.
He ain't going.
Breaks him.
Okay. What I said earlier is about Jeb too.
Make sure you got enough pickle shine on hand, Jake. Help you get through
All
the
right.
weekend. It happens
So,
to us all, darling.
so
It
not
happens
only
to
are we
us all.
predicting a Tennessee win, we're predicting we're predicting Saban to pull a Spurrier.
yeah.
They're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
look
Yes.
like
Right.
a regular football team this
Oh
week.
my God.
Y'all have hatred to Alabama since they beat y'all's teams, I guess, Becky and Steve. So that's the reason why. I understand.
I need Alabama to lose every game they play.
Hey,
they have
I
to start
understand.
losing at some point. So
but what if they don't?
They're going to SEC
Yeah,
championship again.
honestly, if Ole Miss wins out, and Alabama wins out, and Alabama goes to the SEC championship game, probably puts Ole Miss in a better position to go to the playoff.
Right.
Playoffs.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I mean, we're putting the cart way ahead of the horse. At the
Mhm.
moment.
Uh,
But this is what I'll also say: in 1981 or 1982, Tennessee at home broke a over 10-year streak of losing to Alabama. They tore down the goalpost, the whole 9 yards. The next year, the game was played in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee won that game.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm talking
does
about.
history repeat itself 40 years later?
Who was the coach then?
I'm assuming it would be Bear Bryant as the Alabama coach.
Probably that's probably his
and-
last years.
And Johnny
ding,
Majors,
ding.
maybe,
Mhm.
at Tennessee.
Saban's not Paul Bear Bryant. He's not on his last leg yet.
I'm just teasing.
he's bought his
Everybody
retirement
knows
home. He's
Saban's the greatest
already-
of all
It
time.
is
Mentally
funny
moved
to see
in.
Jake get defensive about Nick Saban whenever that comes up. It's so funny to see
You gotta
the
let us
expression
pick
on
on
his
him every
face
once in a
change.
while.
Because I'm the youngest, I understand.
Got to pick on little bro.
Yeah, that's right. I got thick skin.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll try to have thick skin next week. We'll see.
I would too, because this is going to be a fun game. I'm just excited for it. Because honestly, guys, we don't know how the schedule is going to lay out after this season. So this potentially could be the last time we play the third Saturday in October every year. It could be every other year. It might.
You want to see me come on TV and melt down?
I know.
Let that game go away. Let Ole Miss LSU go away.
Right.
Let the games go away. Watch me melt.
Right.
Because I don't give a crap about watching Ole Miss in Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah,
Mhm.
cool, they're in the conference, but not at the expense of LSU.
Right.
There's too much water that's flown under that bridge.
Mhm. Yep.
And if they're getting rid of
Oh, it
Tennessee,
was Ray
Alabama, they're
Perkins
getting rid of
according to
Georgia,
Famous
Florida?
Standard. We made the Ray Perkins comment earlier.
There we go. That's the reason why.
Mhm.
I think it was Johnny Majors for Tennessee. You're right about
Mhm.
that.
I was right church, wrong pew. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not bad to be Tennessee and Alabama knowledge.
Yeah, that's true.
Aficionado.
Yeah, I could tell you who the Ole Miss coach was then, and I can tell you they weren't winning. I can tell you they lost to Alabama in 82, 59-35 in an era that 17-13 was the predominant score in the SEC.
Boy, you talk about no defenses.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. The defense was it's like they didn't even know.
17-13, man, shootout.
Mhm.
So, our bonus game, shall we?
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Two
Bonus
college,
games.
two universities that have no helmet decal.
Yes.
One of
Yeah.
6 in college football.
Mhm.
Yes. All they have is a stripe
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
3 stripes. But Penn State, the Nittany Lions, travel to the Shoe to take on Ohio State. Ohio State's 5-point favorites at home. This is going to have a huge Big Ten implications and huge ramifications in playoff standings as well. This is the first major clash in the Big Ten. I'm going Penn State here. I think Penn State has a knack for playing Ohio State tough. Ohio State doesn't quite have the star power, even though they've been running up the score on teams. I think the one true test that they've had, which was against Notre Dame, they didn't exactly light the world on fire. So when you get an actual defense that's flying at you like Penn State does, and Penn State I think has the best defense in the conference, and they especially get after the passer very, very well. And I like the Nittany Lions here, not only to cover, but I think they're going to win outright.
Penn State is going to beat Ohio State, lose to Michigan, and Ohio State's going to beat Michigan. And you're going to have 3 one-loss teams in the Big Ten, and everybody's going to be trying to figure out, well, who goes to the playoffs, and even if they have one. That's my prediction. Give me the Nittany Lions straight up against Ohio State.
Oh.
Well, I will say that I'm rooting for Penn State in this one, but I just can't count Ohio State out. I'm sorry. I feel like Ohio State's going to end up winning this game. I know they're not going to look as good as they have been this season because you're right. They've not been playing near this level of talent. So it's going to be a rough game, but I feel like they're going to win by just 6 or 7 points, just enough to cover. So I'm taking Ohio State.
Okay.
I'm picking Penn State. Cassidy is picking Ohio State. The reason I'm picking Penn State, Ohio State starts out very slow against some awful teams. They can't start out slow against Penn State, or they're going to be, trying to play catch up all game. They got a good offense to do it. I'm just not really sold on their quarterback. I just don't know if he can lead a charge late in the game if he needs to. And if it does come down to a goal line stand, I guarantee you Penn State will have 11 players out there for the final 2 plays instead of, 10 like Notre Dame did in their game. So
yeah,
give me Penn State to win outright.
I'm a little bit irritated. I have to pick either one to win, but I guess I'll go with my girl Cassidy and go with Ohio State. No reason other than I don't like either of them.
Oh, okay.
All right then.
All right. They don't call you the best in the business for nothing.
Dynamite drop in, Monty.
Hello.
All right.
That broadcasting school is really paying off.
Major League was such a good movie. All right, go, Melissa.
Such a great movie.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Ball
All
8.
right. Ball 12. How is he laying off pitches so close? So, FSU travels to Wallace Wade Stadium. They're 14.5-point favorites on the road against a very, very good Duke team that took Notre Dame to the wire. Probably should have won. They made some mistakes, some crucial mistakes, especially down the stretch in that one against Notre Dame to seal their fate. Took Clemson to the woodshed, has been really good under Mike Elko. And I hope to whoever above that Mike Elko decides not to go to Texas A&M because I think they're going to come after him and stay at Duke. But Duke is a very, very tough team. I'm taking Duke here to just cover. They could very well win outright. They have as good of a chance as anybody on Florida State's schedule. Riley Leonard is one of my favorite quarterbacks. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the country, I think. And I Bleav that they at the very least cover. They could outright win, but I think Florida State may get a close win, but I certainly don't think it's going to be by more than 14.5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to drop a Duke and
Gross.
no, I don't think you have to worry about Mike Elko
give us
going to
play by
Texas
play?
A&M because he can go 8-4 at Duke.
Yeah. I've got to catch up in some of these pollings here. I'm kind of falling behind Jake and Steve and now Becky apparently. So I'm taking FSU just to have a different pick here. I like FSU. I think they're a really good team this year. I think they're better than Duke, and I think they're going to win. 14.5 points at Duke? Probably not. I wouldn't put money on that, but I'm still taking FSU just because I want to win this week. Or just fall farther behind and be done with it. Whatever. Figure it out one way or the other.
Well, Jeb, I will say that you're still ahead of Corey, so that's something to say. So,
well, that's true. That's not saying much.
Not really much of an accomplishment there.
Yeah. Again, the household is split here. I'm picking Duke. Cassie's going with Florida State. I think Duke, they're playing really well. Riley Leonard could come back in this game, but even without him, like Corey mentioned, they play really physical, ball, and I think that they can get after Travis Hunter. I still think Florida State wins, but I do think it'd be like a 10-point game and Duke covers.
It's not Travis Hunter. He's at Colorado.
Whatever.
And Riley Leonard sounds like the guy that was like the sidekick on National Treasure.
It's
Right.
What is it?
Settler.
What, Riley Travis? What's his name? I don't remember. Over there.
Riley
I don't know,
Leonard?
but
No,
Riley
I'm
Travis?
Jordan. Hunter Travis.
Jordan Travis.
Jordan Travis. There you go.
Taylor
oh, wow.
He's only-
Davis.
He's only a
Just like
Heisman candidate, Jake.
Obviously,
Probably
the only one that I hear about is Keller Williams. So
No, Michael Penix.
And
Yeah,
Shadur
Michael
Sanders.
According to
Yeah.
Desmond Howard, they had that big Penix energy.
Penix. No, that sounds so wrong.
Desmond Howard picked Texas A&M to go to the playoffs last year.
That is true.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he's
Varsity God. We didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, Becky, go with your pick.
No, I've got nothing. Listening to Corey run through it though, Duke deserves this one, so I'm going to go with Duke. I think they might even win, and that'd be kind of fun to watch.
That would be.
Coach K.
See, my high school that I'm just like 2 blocks from, that's where I graduated from, are the Blue Devils. So I love Duke Blue Devils.
Winter Haven is the Blue Devils.
Yeah.
That's true. Huh?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You think
So-
Duke basketball hates that Duke football is getting pretty good or getting better?
That's like
Probably.
it's like Kentucky football and Kentucky or Kansas football.
I think they
That's true.
hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky's football's basketball's kind of come down a little bit the last couple of years.
I
That's
think
what happens to
California
dynasties,
hates it.
Jake. They fall.
Now, I'm not saying Alabama's falling yet.
Oh, nobody's saying yet.
No, I'm not. I mean,
Gotta have
Becky, you know me.
I'm
I know it.
teasing you.
I know it. You know it's coming. I know it's coming.
Gotta have a growth mindset.
But
Jake.
I can handle a 9-3 season, unlike the rest of Alabama fans.
I think
can
that's what's
handle a
throwing me
7-5.
off is that you're very
Can you handle a
reasonable
Mike
about it.
Shula?
My God, Mike Sheila. The last year, 3-9 was pathetic. I actually went to the game that we lost to Northern Illinois with him. I was at that game. That was terrible.
Ouch.
One of those you just feel like is a safe game.
Yeah,
It
I
just
put a
destroys
bag
you.
over my head going to the car. I was so mad.
Oh. That all worked out in the
Man.
end.
I
Yeah,
get it.
Yeah, well.
Matt Luke for y'all, Steve.
Oh, Ed Orgeron.
Ed
was
Orgeron,
right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I like Mad Luke.
And until you've been leading in the fourth quarter, up 34-31 with Northwestern State.
Oh Lord.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh.
Or how about Kirby's first year beating Nicholls State by 2 points,
Yeah.
like 24-22.
I remember that.
A win's a win's a win. Come
And
on.
Nicholls
Yeah.
State, I think, was last in the FCS that year.
But it all worked out in the end for y'all, Corey. It's all that matters.
Yeah, I think. so.
Yeah, I think Kirby's going to be okay.
I think he's gonna be okay.
I mean, Saban's first year, he went 7-6. So
And lost to ULM.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
still funny to look back and be like, "How the hell did we lose that game?"
Mhm.
Or almost lose that game, I should say. We didn't lose that
Heck,
game.
Hugh Freeze had Kirby Smart in his first year at Georgia just about ready to quit. It was like 42-0 in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Huck's first birthday party. We had like my entire family over here, like extended family. Like we had like 60 people at my house, and we had that game on, and people kept asking me,
Humble
"What's
brag.
going on with Georgia?"
I don't remember how old you are, but I remember those years too. I was a young kid during those times, but I do remember those.
I remember Alabama losing to a 3-win Ole Miss team on the dedication of the Bear Bryant Museum, and Alabama having 0 passing yards with Bill Curry.
Yeah.
Steve remembers Alabama starting a football team.
I remember that Rose Bowl in night.
Steven remembers when Alabama became a state.
Steve was actually the manager for the Swanee team that went on the 6-day barnstorming tour.
I feel like I need to say stop, y'all. I'm not going to, but I feel like I should.
Yeah. Remember, you're married to me.
Yeah. You have to live with them. We don't.
Becky's like, talk and not talk for hours.
Becky, I've been hitting him with these
No
jokes since
peas.
2008, so we're good.
Year before I graduated, 2008.
Shut your
Oh,
mouth.
Lord. Yeah, really.
Good God. Are you able to drive yet? Shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Are
Hey,
you old
tell me-
enough to drink your moonshine?
Yeah. It took me 3 times to get my permit, 3 times to get my license.
Jesus, Jake.
Yeah, I ran out in front of a car. I almost had a wreck my first time.
Persistence.
Yeah. Hey, I'm consistent across the board.
All right. I'm not riding shotgun with Jake.
Hey.
I am the safest driver in Alabama because I drive the speed limit. I don't actually drive 5 miles under the speed limit.
Oh my goodness, you and Jeb. My goodness.
Cassie better drive home from the hospital.
No.
Jeb drives like he's worried about INS.
I get pulled over for no reason. It's a weird thing.
Jeb gets pulled over at least 3 times a year.
It's weird.
And he don't speed.
Yeah.
No. I just don't quite stop at a stop sign completely, and I got cops chasing me down the road.
You turning in the middle of the road to come get you.
Spinning and chasing me down.
Yeah, you look up in the rear mirror, it's like, man, they got a chase behind me somewhere. Where are they chasing? Oh, wait.
I don't know what they think I am, but
That's me.
Yeah.
They probably think you're trying to bring toys to every kid.
that's what I'm gonna say. Do I look like I'm smuggling drugs? But I don't understand it. But
What you got in that beard, son?
cops are just like, nobody looks that happy when they're driving. There's something wrong with that guy.
It's looking a little white here lately, Jeff.
Hey, those gray hairs deserve to be there. They've earned the right to exist.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, his prison bids have really grayed him up a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
stressful.
All right, Corey.
Get us out of here. 2 minutes.
2
All
minutes.
right,
You got the
2
clock.
minutes. Here we go. And go. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our picks presented by Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles and betonline.ag. We thank you for participating in our pick segment, where also the entire show is also presented by DeadSoxy. They're our main presenting sponsor and the presenting sponsor of this station. All right, Stephen Willis, you can catch him each and every day on Locked On Ole Miss. You can catch me, Bleav In Georgia Dawgs, and Illegal Motion. You can catch Jake at Tide Talk Live, at Biscuits with Alabama Football, and all kind of shows now. You can catch Jeb eventually on the airwaves. You can catch the four of us on After Dark commentary and reactions. We're going to start in the offseason doing some show reviews as well. We have a 1923 season 1 review if you want to check that out. And like I said, we thank the voice of God, who has now surged ahead into first place for being our producer extraordinaire. We also thank our associate producer Cassidy Thomas and the young Thomas that is growing inside of her tummy. So, but we are the SEC After Dark podcast on the After Dark Network and in conjunction with the Bleav Network. And we thank you for listening. We thank you for watching. We hope you find us. Tell a friend. Come back and see us. But until then, and until next time, go Dogs.
Hotty toddy.
Go Vols.
Roll Tide.